Okay, here's another linear equation, and it's getting a little longer now, so we just have to work at it step by step and kind of grind it down to x equals. So the first thing we're going to do is we have all kinds of parentheses, so we're going to use our distributive property. And again, remember to keep your equal sign lined up. So I'll do that just to keep me on task here, and then I'll remove the parentheses. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times negative 3, a positive times a negative is a negative. 5 times 3 is 15. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. And a negative times a negative is a positive. 4 times x is 4x. On the right, now these are just numbers. I mean, these are just parentheses, but they have a 1 in front of them. There's nothing there, so we can just drop them. But sometimes you see this. So this is just going to be 3x minus 2, because we multiply everything by 1, plus 1 minus 5x. So that was kind of just easy to do. Okay? Then we'll combine our like terms. So I got some x's over here. And I've got some numbers. And I've got some x's over here. And I've got some numbers. So those are the like terms. I've underlined them accordingly. So I'll do my x's first. So 5x plus 4x, that's just 9x. And the negative 15 and a negative 12 is a negative 27. And that equals, and a negative 5x plus 3x, well, the signs are different. The sign of the larger is negative, so I take the sign of the larger and the difference, 2x. And a negative 2 plus 1 is a negative, remember the signs are different, so I take the sign of the larger, which is negative, and the difference between 2 and 1 is 1. And now I've got a basic now, my three-step equation. Variable number, variable number. So I try to get all my variables where they're more positive, so what I'll do is I'll try to add, because I've got more positive x's on the left, so I'll add 2x to both sides. And this is going to equal negative 2x and positive 2x is just 0, so I just have negative 1 left on the right. And 9x plus 2x is 11x, so I've got 11x minus 27 on the left. Then I'll add 27 to both sides. I got to get rid of the 27 and the 11. So that goes from a basic 3-step to a basic 2-step. So I'm going to add 27 because this is joined by subtraction. This is multiplication. Subtraction is the weaker the operation. The opposite of subtraction is addition. And I just have left on the left side 11x. And on the right side I have, well, 27 minus 1 is just 26. And then I want to solve for x. 11 is joined to the x by multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is division, so I just divide both sides by 11. And I end up with x equals. And I can't reduce those, so I'll just leave it as 26 over 11. That's your answer. That's fine for me. So did I keep my equal signs lined up? Yeah, it's pretty close, yeah. And notice that what I did to the left, I did to the right when we had these three-step equations. They usually all come down to one of these, either a three-step equation or one of these two-step equations. So you're always going to usually come down to these steps here and then just do the same thing. But sometimes you have a lot of simplifying to do, so be aware of that. Hope that's okay. And then I got another biggie over here that we could try. And if you can do these, you'll probably be in pretty good shape. But like I say, if you can think of something that is a linear equation that you're having trouble with, just let me know. You can contact me. Let me know, and I'll do the solution online for you, or I'll just answer your question if it's a simple one. So this has got all kinds of good stuff on it. So again, here's my equal sign, so I'll line that up. And the first thing I have to do is remove my parentheses, because I've got all kinds of numerical and variable terms here. So 2 times 4 is 8. And 2 times negative x is negative 2x. And a positive times a negative is a negative. 7 times 2 is 14. And a positive times a negative is a negative, and 7 times 3 is 21. And any of these problems you could go back just for practice, and you could look at the problem and write it down and put it on pause and then try to check the answer or try to work it out. Then you could go to the end of the video and see the answer, and if you didn't get it, you could go back and try to see what you did wrong. And if you couldn't do that, you could check the solution. So these, you could use these as practice problems. Okay, and then over here, a negative times a negative is a positive. 3 times 2 is 6. A negative times a negative is a positive. And so figure out your sign, number, variable. Sign is positive. Numbers, 3 times 4 is 12, and variable is x. A negative times a positive is a negative, so that's your sign. Your number is 4 times 2 is 8, and your variable is x. And a negative times a negative is a positive, and 4 times 1 is 4. And then we'll combine our like terms, and we got numerical and variable terms. So I've got x's and I've got numbers. I've got x's and I've got numbers. So just underline those like that. That helps you keep track. And I'll do my x's first. So a negative 2x and a negative 21x. Well, the signs are the same. So I always take this common sign, or the sign of the larger, which is negative. It doesn't matter because they're the same. And I take the sum. And what's the sum of 2 and 21? 23. And a negative 14 and a positive 8. The signs are different. The sign of the larger is negative, so I use that sign. And the difference between 14 and 8 is 6. And on the right, negative, I've got just 12 minus 8. I can think of that. It's just 4. 12 apples minus 8 apples is 4 apples. So 12x minus 8x is 4x. And then 6 plus 4, they're both positive, so that's just 10. So now I've got my 3-step equation. See, they'll come down to that eventually. Then I'll just subtract 4x from both sides because, I want to get all my x's where there are more positives. So I got more positive x's on the right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 23x on the left, so I don't have to bother with negative signs. Because remember, it could either be x equals or something equals x, and it's the same thing. So negative 23 plus 23 is 0, so I just have negative 6. And that equals, and then 23 plus 4 is just 27x plus 10. And now I've got a 2-step equation, subtract 10 from both sides to get all my numbers on the same side. The opposite of addition is subtraction. And on the right I've got 27x. And on the left I've got negative 16. And then if I divide both sides by 27, because the 27 is joined to the x by multiplication, the opposite of multiplication is division, I end up with x equals negative. There are no common factors. I can't reduce it, so just leave it as negative 16 over 27. And that's fine. So there's a humdinger, but it just gets easier and easier and easier. And again, make sure you line up your equal signs, and I managed to do that. Yeah, they're pretty well lined up. And you can see what I did to the left, I did to the right. Left, right, left, right, left, right. Check your work like that. Hope that all makes sense.